What is going on, everybody? I am ZXRyuu, and I've got a story for you after the intro starts on this game. Just like Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross has an amazing opening as well. But that's not really all. If you start the game right now, you kind of miss some little things that show up like after the title screen. So I'm going to wait another minute so we can go through that too, because there's just some interesting stuff that happens in there, and then we'll start up the game after the after kind of like the demo. So because there's just kind of some interesting story elements that they tell you before the game really starts. So, and plus it's like the only time you ever get to hear this song. So. So that's the full opening to Chrono Cross. All right, so this game is notorious for being very difficult to stream and record, primarily because the game switches between 240p and 480i, so it switches between a progressive and an interlaced resolution. But recently, there have been some devices that have been made that allow capture cards and screens like HD TVs and stuff to accept the weird signal switch without like dropping out and cutting out half of the gameplay. So, so the reason why I wanted to kind of play a little bit of this was to just tell you guys some stories, and also just because I'm like super excited to be able to play this game on stream. It's been a really long time just trying to figure out like how to even get this to work. So so anyway, I guess as we kind of go through the opening level here, I'll kind of explain some of this stuff. I'm not going to play this game for too long. This isn't going to be a full Let's Play yet. Because I want to get a little bit farther along in Chrono Trigger before I start playing Chrono Cross, because the two kind of overlap at different points, and so I don't want to get too far into this and like have too many like spoilers and this kind of thing. So so I did want to just start it up and do a recording and just tell you guys some stories and say some thanks. So something interesting, I guess, about this section in particular here at the beginning is I at first had thought there was an audio glitch because there's some notes that don't play throughout this version of the song. And because if you compare it to the soundtrack that you can buy still, shows how popular it is if you can still buy it to this day. There's some notes that are missing at certain points throughout the song, and so that kind of is something that I thought was weird. But I don't know, it was kind of interesting, but it's not a glitch, it's actually intentional, so. Oh, hey, Blackbeard, what's up? This game with this battle system. All right, so I guess immediately the thing that I want to point out is that I can switch between 240p and 480i and not drop any sync. So I can look at it on my PVM over on this side over here, and then look at my recording over here, and it doesn't drop or anything. So what I'm using is something called the GBS control. Oh, thanks for the support, homie. I appreciate it. So you can, using the GBS control, it's not like a reference quality device, I guess, although it's pretty close. If you pair that with something else that somebody recently donated to me, and I have to give a big thank you to Matthew Cole, who donated me his open source scan converter. He had just recently bought a RetroTink 5X, which is an awesome device. I don't have one at this point in time. They're really expensive. They're about as much as a FrameMeister, and they're about as much as a current gen console, but they are super worth it if you want to go out and get one. But I'm pairing the GBS 8200 with the open source scan converter, and that allows me to play this game without dropping any sync or anything. So this game is now playable again. So it wasn't until just recently that I was able to get the open source scan converter. I'd been wanting to get one, but just money is so tight right now, it's insane. So I just asked on the community, hey, is anybody getting rid of their OSSC? They don't want it or anything, and so this guy was willing to just donate me his OSSC at no cost outside of it, shipping it to me. So thank you so much. This is amazing, and now I can I can stream Chrono Cross without any weird glitches or anything. So so I'm super thankful and really appreciative of that. And so the community is awesome, and I just kind of took a risk asking because a lot of people just want to sell their OSSC and not donate it because it's still a really good piece of equipment. And so I'm really thankful and really blessed to be able to have this. And now I can stream this game, and we can go through it here at some point without it being like horridly unplayable. So. And so, like Blackbeard the Great mentioned, this combat system is weird. The way this combat system works is you have like certain equipment equipped and certain things that are called elements. They're not really like magic because you can't use them multiple times. You can only use elements once during combat per combat. And they have these hit percentages. So you can start out with you know, just like your weak attack, which will do very little damage, but has a high chance to hit. The more you use low percentage attacks, the higher percentage you have to hit with these stronger ones. Now, it's not guaranteed that you're going to hit, and even the 99% that it says is still not guaranteed to hit. You can still whiff on a 99% move. So just use one of the elements. So there's elements that hit all the enemies. There's elements that hit one person. There's certain elements that can only be equipped on the board at certain places, and I'll get to that kind of as I play the game. So like Magma Bomb hits all, Photon Beam hits one, but where it's equipped on the grid, it's actually slightly weaker because it's a level 1 element, but it's attached on it's a level 3 element, but it's attached on the level 2 slot, which makes it slightly weaker. So, so that kind of adjusts what the damage is going to do. And so this move is going to be slightly weaker, but it still does enough damage. So that's pretty much how the combat system works in a nutshell. At the end of combat, you kind of get these buffs or something. You can use max healing without using consumables, so that means that if you haven't used a healing element, it'll just pick one and use it. If you want to use consumables, then you can do that, or you can just choose to not heal at the end. So, I mean, if you haven't used a healing element, you might as well just go ahead and use it at the end of combat. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of the combat system, but we can look at the element grid. And so we can see kind of how things work. Okay, so you can kind of see over here where it's got like the level and whether or not it's consumable or not. If it's a healing item, like the tablets are consumable. So if I would have said heal with consumable items, it might have used one of those. So the photon ray here, which is attached to the first element, it's a level 1 element, but it can be plus or minus 7. So you can stick it pretty much anywhere on the grid, and it'll be plus whatever higher level you have it attached to. Now, Ice Lance is a level 2 element, so it can be plus or minus 6. But since it's on the level 1 slot, it's a minus 1, which means it takes kind of a damage hit. So it's not as strong putting it here. Now, depending on the element and your level and a whole bunch of other things, it may or may not kind of adjust a large amount or a small amount. And it kind of just, it varies. So it's pretty ridiculous. So again, Cure is a level 1, heals small, but if you put it on level 2, because you're taking up a level 2 slot that you could be using for something else, they give you a slight buff. But with the case of Ice Lance, they want you to use it on level 2, and so they're going to take something away from you for trying to get to it sooner. Because whenever you use certain attacks, that builds up the grid. And it takes more attacks and more element drain or more stamina drain to be able to use certain elements. And so they balance out the system in a way that you really have to put the elements either kind of like a level above to get a boost, but you don't really want to put level below. Now, there's only one thing that really doesn't matter, and that's like right at the end of the game where that's important. So we'll get back to that way, way, way in the future. But anyway, there are these grayed out ones, which are like, this is level 3 plus or minus 0, which means that's an inherent or innate skill that that character can learn, and it can't be moved around, and it can only be put there. And kind of as the grid gets bigger, more and more of those things show up. So right here at the beginning of the game, they give you some things to kind of start with, but after we get through this dungeon, things are going to change drastically. And so it's kind of a good idea to understand how the element allocation and grid system work while you're here, so that by the time you leave this dungeon, you kind of know what's happening. So it's a lot of things to learn very quickly. Okay, that's a dead end. So hopefully that kind of like basic, it's very basic conversation on how the grid system works and how the element system works kind of helps you get started. Okay, so now that I kind of explained a little bit, let me go back through the combat system again and just kind of talk through what's going on here. So you can defend, which lowers the damage. So, okay, so you have that. You can run away from combat if you need to. Okay, so now you have the stamina, which is 7.0. So you have, and certain attacks will do certain things, and certain elements will take certain stamina and all of that. So it kind of goes, it varies up and down. Okay, so using the level 1, or using the first level attack gained me level 1 on the grid. If I use 2, that boosts it up to 3. So this will, if it hits, gain you that much on the element grid. So now at this point, since I have level 3, I can use up to the 3rd level of elements. Do I have something that'll hit both? Okay, so I've got this that'll do damage to both. Now what happens is if you use an element, which takes 7, that means that I went out. Because I went kind of past, I had 4 left and I used 7, so I went out by 3. So that character can't be used until I rebuild the stamina. And it's never a good thing to go out. If you're going to use an element, you want to make sure that your stamina is full, or else you can really gyp yourself. If all the characters go out on their stamina, like if they're in the negative, the enemy gets an extra turn, and it's usually a super powerful attack that they'll use to exploit you. So you really don't want to go out at all. Okay, thanks Blackbeard. Appreciate you hosting my stream. That's awesome. Thank you very much. Have a good day, my dude. So primarily what you want to do when you start, when you just start combat, you want to kind of slowly build up your attacks, just to kind of build up the element grid. The only time to really go out is if you're pretty sure you can defeat the enemy, like to end the combat completely. So, like that. Now, the out's not going to matter. But if you're facing a boss, you never want to do that. You always want to attack in such a way that you never go out. And never go out on all 3 characters. Ever. That will get you killed. These bats are pretty fast and they can follow you around pretty well. Alright, here's what we're looking for. So, you will always have your main character, the secondary character, the girl with the blonde hair, and then the third character is on random. So you can end up with a lot of different characters. So I think there's a certain pool, like you can't, there's a couple of characters you can't end up with, but you can end up with quite a few of them. So, so anyway, each time you go through this game, the character can be different there. What are we doing out here? Is this thing floating? Well, that was weird. Look familiar? Mom? Is that you? Huh. Well, I guess it was all a dream. I think you can close these again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you can do the same thing like you can in Chrono Trigger where you can open these and close these. So. Hello, Mom. Marge. Still off in Never Never Land. And, all right, Mom. Very true to Chrono Trigger. There's also a cat. She said something else. Okay, so this game has some interesting things because there are branching paths in this game. If you choose certain things, certain other things will happen. And that determines the course of the game. So, and it's mainly involved with recruiting characters. So, if there are certain characters that you want, you need to make certain choices along the way in order to get those characters. So, again, the first time through the game, you can't recruit all of the characters. You have to go through the game at least twice, I think 3 times, if you want to get all of the characters. And there's a lot of them. There's like 50 characters or something. So, interesting. Oh, I have 2 cats. Sergi. Fossil Valley. Okay, so what's kind of interesting is the previous dungeon, if you, depending on how many battles you fight, gives you a little bit of money. So for every 1,000 gold that you earned in the dungeon, you get 100 of that. So you get some, you can buy some stuff here. Yeah, cure is really expensive, but really helpful. What do we want to do here? Do I just want to buy a cure? Actually, let's see here. What else do you have here? Or what are you? What's the grid size? Oh, you already start with cure. Nice. And the last element is empty. Okay. Start with any equipment. Ivory mail. Okay. Oops. What do you have for weapons and armor? Okay. So this game also, there's a lot of things that I have to explain right here at the beginning. So it's a 90% tax rate on dungeon loot, indeed. How you doing, Bruceby? Yeah, there's a huge tax on stuff. And also the black box down there in the bottom right-hand corner is the character box, and that's how many characters there are in the game. So there's a huge amount of characters. So this game introduces a forge. You can forge weapons, you can forge armor, and you can forge accessories. Now, what it says over there, it says bone and fang. So you have to have those drops in order to forge these items. And, you know, as the game goes on, the requirements get higher and higher, and there's some different things. So anyway, we can't really do that. But if you want to get, like, certain items that you need to build or forge other things, you could disassemble. Which is helpful. Or you can just sell your stuff. So, let's go ahead and get a, let's see here, fireball and an aqua beam. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and equip the fireball onto the element grid. Okay, so since this is a level 1 element, you get +2, which will help a little. Oh, it's you. Okay, that leads out. All right. Yeah, the world map is pretty large. Radical Dreamers. I guess that brings up the Radical Dreamers is a game that was made kind of in between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, and I don't know that much about it. One of my friends, Magascala, has played through it, but I haven't, and I always forget about it too. Maybe I should go through it at some point here. Yes, that is a dog. Jeez. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Uh-huh, you creeper. Sheesh. That's disgusting. What you say about my restaurant? You can quit any time. Yikes. Just saying how good the work environment is. Oh boy. Talk to him? I don't know if I can talk to him or not. Ah, there we go. My Hecarin soup, huh? Well, we just passed the Hecarin, so there you go. There's a crossover. No answer, just a barrel. Hello, dog. Bark. A Hecarin bone. All right. Ivory helmet. Okay. That was worth coming back here. Got to be real careful because the way that the levels are made is they hide a whole lot of stuff around, and it is it's pretty insane how much stuff is like hidden in just areas and things. So you really got to keep your eyes open in this game. Komodo dragon scales. Oh no. Boy, I'm gonna fix. There's a Komodo. Celine. Trying to talk to you. Huh? Okay, weird. That's right. Okay. Rock and roll to trap the sucker. Use the lay of the land. Run with all your might. Kick the little sucker's butt. Go forth and bring forth a brighter tomorrow. Looks nice down here, dude. All right, here you go. Guy's life story. Indeed. shark tooth. Some of the characters do get in the way, and so it is sometimes difficult to like navigate. Yo, Sergi. Thanks, girl. So there's the pier out there. Uh-oh. Received a Komodo scale without lifting a finger. Alright. Radius. So if you don't understand the element system and the attack system, you can have Radius explain it to you again. So that's what he's here for. Poshul. Sergi Poo. Sure. Tempted by food. What's the... Okay, here's the item menu. So if you get the Hecarim bone, and you give it to Poshul, a present for I? To accept or not to accept? Me accepts your present, and me shall help you. That's how you recruit the dog. So the dog joins your party. So if you're in need of a character that badly at the start of the game, you can recruit the dog right there. So, what we're going to do is, talking to Lena kind of sets off a whole bunch of other stuff for the game. And I'm just about out of time for the moment. I'll be back a little bit later. But I'll go ahead and just talk to this person and then go out and save, and then we'll come back. So. Whack you in the head. All right. Youch. Okay. So when you're on the world map, you can save. Okay, so that's kind of the introduction to Chrono Cross. Sorry if it was really long-winded, but I really just want to kind of get the game started and say a few things about it, and also to just say thank you again to Matthew Cole for donating his open source scan converter to me. That is amazing, and actually without you, I could not have started to make this video series. So when paired with the GVS 8200, you can now have a system that doesn't drop sync between 240p and 480i. So so that's really just kind of what I wanted to say just for the start of this video series. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate my viewers. I really appreciate you guys just hanging out in the chat and watching the videos. And you guys are just awesome. I can't say enough about you guys. I'm so thankful for you. And I really hope you guys enjoy the video series, and just check out the other channel. Check out the other videos on this channel. And I just hope that you guys really know that you guys are really special to me. And so I hope to see you guys in the next video. I should be back here in a little bit. So hang tight, and we'll see you guys again soon. You guys are awesome. Later.